In tonight's headlines, 5 people are killed when part of a bridge in Guangzhou collapses after being hit by a cargo ship. A taxi driver is sentenced to 8 years in jail for a Tai Po crash that left 2 people dead. And Xia Baolong, China's top official on Hong Kong affairs, arrives for a week-long visit.
This was the moment when part of the Li Sin Sha Bridge in Guangzhou collapsed after being hit by a container ship at around 5 a.m. 5 vehicles on the 800-meter-long bridge in Nansha district fell into the water or landed on the vessel. At least 5 deaths were confirmed. The victims were the driver of a bus which was empty at the time, a motorcyclist, and 3 people in a van. Investigators said the ship's steering was mishandled and it hit 2 pillars supporting the bridge. The ship's captain was detained as an investigation began. The vessel was not carrying any cargo at the time and was sailing from Foshan to Guangzhou. Residents of Sanmin Island were affected as they used the bridge to go to work or other villages in the Hongqili waterway. The authorities sent water to the island after supplies were disrupted and relocated some residents. This man who works in a factory next to the bridge said he heard a loud noise when the crash occurred. His fellow workers were unable to go to the factory. 3 years ago, transport officials in Guangdong province ordered that the bridge be strengthened in case of collisions. The work was completed in 2022. Maisie Mock, Cable News.
A taxi driver has been sentenced to 8 years in jail in connection with a crash that killed 2 people and injured 4 others in Tai Po 3 years ago. Mok Pui-wa was also banned from driving for life. The 66-year-old defendant pleaded guilty last month to 2 counts of manslaughter and 4 counts of dangerous driving causing grievous bodily harm. The fatal crash occurred in August 2021 when Mok was driving his taxi along Kwang Fok Road. The High Court heard that he increased his speed as the traffic lights turned red when he was approaching a pedestrian crossing. His vehicle plowed into a group of people, killing a 59-year-old man on the spot. A 63-year-old woman died in hospital a day later. 4 people were injured, including a pregnant woman and a 4-year-old boy. Judge Andrew Chan deemed the case unfortunate but also unbelievable, as the defendant had passed drug and alcohol tests, and his taxi was in good condition. Mok was a professional driver for over 40 years and was not involved in a major accident before the Tai Po crash. The defendant himself was unable to explain how the tragedy happened. Janice Yu, Cable News.
Hong Kong and Macau office director Xia Baolong is back in the city, less than a year after his last visit. Accompanied by Chief Executive John Lee, Xia kick-started his week-long stay by touring the Integrated Airport Center. Airport Authority Chief Executive Fred Lam briefed him about its operations. The group then headed to the apron to get a glimpse of the world's first autonomous electric tractor, which carries the baggage of departing passengers. After lunch, Xia traveled to Admiralty, where he was welcomed by the city's number 2, Eric Chan, before meeting senior government officials. Justice Chief Paul Lam and his deputy Horace Chung were seen arriving for the meeting. Officers from the Counter-Terrorism Response Unit were deployed to patrol Admiralty Station while the meeting took place. Chen said the discussions with Xia covered various topics, including economic development, district governance, and the Article 23 National Security Law.
我哋都充分感受到夏主任係對香港嘅事務係非常之關心。
The Chief Secretary said Xia paid much attention to the city's affairs, adding that he recognized the government's work and offered his support. The final stop of the day was Government House in the mid-levels, where Lee hosted a banquet. Xia's visit ends next Wednesday, when the public consultation on Article 23 draws to a close. Janice Low, Cable News.
There's been a sharp rise in Hong Kong's prison population. The number of people in jail last year stood at 17,268. That's 30% more than the 13,246 prisoners in 2022. Last year, about 950 inmates were serving sentences related to the social unrest or for violating the national security law, a 15% rise from the previous year. Another 3,000 people are on remand daily while awaiting trial, the highest number in 23 years. To cope with the growth in the prison population, there are plans to expand the Lai Chi Kok Reception Center. In a meeting with reporters, Correctional Services Commissioner Wong Kwok Heng denied rumors of bullying in prisons. He said the case in which an 18-year-old inmate was allegedly sexually assaulted in Pick Oak Prison was extremely rare. A prison officer, who was one of 5 people allegedly involved in the assault, has been remanded pending trial. Wong stressed that to create a secure, safe and humane environment, the department would not allow illegal or violent acts. Wong added that he is seeking a law amendment to prevent people who are under supervision after getting out of prison from leaving Hong Kong. Activist Tony Chung, who was freed last year after being jailed for a national security offense, was required to follow supervision rules, but he fled to Britain. Janice Yu, Cable News.
The World Health Organization says Gaza's second biggest hospital has been transformed into a place of death because of an Israeli military siege and the bombardment of nearby areas. WHO workers evacuating critically wounded patients from the Nasser hospital described the conditions as appalling. Across Gaza, the Palestinian death toll has risen to over 29,000, with children bearing the brunt of Israel's onslaught.
The health and humanitarian situation in Gaza is inhumane and continues to deteriorate. We need a ceasefire now. We need hostages to be released. We need the bombs to stop dropping, and we need unfettered humanitarian access. Humanity must prevail.
A wildfire is burning out of control in the southeastern Australian state of Victoria. The blaze covers about 50 square kilometers near Ballarat, about 100 kilometers west of the state capital, Melbourne. More than 2,000 people have been ordered to evacuate from the towns of Raglan and Beaufort, with officials warning that the situation will get worse before it gets better.
Today, as we are seeing, has been an incredibly difficult day for fire conditions with extremely hot weather across the state off the back of those recent hot days, and also with hot winds and with the predicted thunderstorms coming through this evening with the wind change. It's going to continue to be a difficult few hours ahead.
After 34 years, Japan's stock market is back to where it belonged. The Nikkei 225 index closed 2.2% higher at 39,098 points, eclipsing the previous high of 38,915 set on the last trading day of 1989. The benchmark plunged 40% the following year as the economic bubble burst. The record kept a stunning rally, surging 42% over the past 12 months. It climbed 17% since the start of the year, making it the world's best-performing major index. Foreign capital flowed into Japan as investors pivoted away from China amid geopolitical uncertainties. Locally, The Hang Seng Index finished higher for the third consecutive session, gaining 1.5%.